Welcome to Beyond the Talking Points. Since apparently I can't talk, that's going to be a little harder tonight. I am David Riley here with Josh Jennings. We're going to have a little deviation from our politics all the time, all during July. So in case you were wondering if we do actually listen to your input, you now know that we do. With our first guest tonight is going to be Duke Ralston, and he is with the Princess Theater, and they have been working in the background to try and bring some attractions, some money, some.
We have been.
Been a busy group.
Yes, we.
Now, tell us a little bit about your ties to the area, because your family's been around a while.
My family's been around for a long time. I grew up here and moved away to Chattanooga and lived in Chattanooga for about 20 years and came back about 3 years ago.
No place like home.
No place like home. That's right. Absolutely right. And one of the things that brought me back, I like to do horror hosting, host horror movies. And I had hosted a couple with Dr. Shock at the Princess Theater.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to be closer to the Princess Theater and do some more movies there. And so I enjoy working in the theater.
That is great. I love a good horror movie.
I do too. I like the old classic horror movies. That's what we always do.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Yeah, I watch C-SPAN for my horror movies, but
it's pretty scary.
Especially if you was watching last night.
I have no comment.
Yeah. So y'all are working on a grant.
We are. We're working on a grant with Thrive 55, and this is an organization. The Lyndhurst Foundation is participating, and Arts Build is participating, and some folks in Chattanooga realized that to make a vibrant art scene, they had to spread out to the surrounding area. It's one of the most beautiful areas in the world. Yeah. And they wanted to reach out to some of the smaller communities with some grant money to help with cultural assets, and we've been working with them since January.
Oh, wow.
on
My bad.
on the theater and on bringing arts to the community.
Good for you. I can't wait to watch the replay.
I can't wait till David hits the floor.
Yeah. For those on the radio, I just about dumped my chair in the floor with me in it. So,
well, that's great. So, what will that grant money be used for if you obtain it?
Well, it's going to be used for a mix of capital investments in the theater and for some programming.
Oh, wow!
And we have some really great stuff coming up this month. Okay. On the 23rd, we have Millennials Rising, which is it's a comedy, but it focuses on some social issues in the area.
Right.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Now, you all have been running movies there here recently.
Yes.
Are you aiming to do a movie once every 2 weeks? Is there any kind of schedule to it yet?
Well, we are. We're trying to have something every weekend, but we don't just do movies. We want to do a mix of movies, plays, and Millennials Rising is a play,
right,
and musical events.
Wow.
Next, on the 30th, we have Yeehaw coming up.
Yes, I saw that.
Right.
I need to buy a ticket to that. One thing that I've learned, if you like the Princess Theater's Facebook page, then you get on your news feed what's going on.
That's exactly right.
And before, unless, of course, me living in Jasper, I didn't get a lot of times to see what was happening. But now I know what's going on down there, so
You can
be sure to like that.
You can like the Facebook page, and we now also have a website,
Really?
princesstheatersp.com, and it has the schedule on it, and you can buy tickets online. A lot
Really?
of folks have been asking to purchase the tickets online, and the upcoming event, the Millennials Rising, you can get the tickets for $10 online. It's $15 at the door.
Oh, well, that's a bargain.
Yeah,
That is.
Hee-haw. What's all going to be at Hee-haw?
Yeehaw is they were here last year. It's a musical group. Basically it's hee haw on stage. They have a lot of great music and a lot of great comedians. If you like the old TV show Hee Haw, you'll love this.
That's a blast from the past.
It is a blast from the past.
Hello, Whitwell, Tennessee.
And one of the things that the Princess likes to do is things that are from the past. You know, the Princess Theater was built in 1929.
Sure.
There's nothing. One of the movies that Dr. Shock ran in there was not Young Frankenstein, the daughter of the Bride of Frankenstein. And there's nothing like sitting in a theater where you know that it originally ran and watching it.
Yeah.
That classic atmosphere. Yeah.
Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock.
That would be wonderful.
That's a
wouldn't it?
good one. Yeah. And I got another suggestion.
Yes.
Christmas.
Uh-huh.
I've always wanted to go see those old like a White Christmas or something.
Oh,
those
the
old,
Bing Crosby stuff.
The Bells of St. Mary's.
Yes.
Yeah.
See
That would be fantastic.
on the big screen. Because I've never, us young people, we've never seen that on the big screen.
No.
We just seen it at home.
And it's a totally different feel.
Yeah.
seeing
That's
it on the
okay. I've been to his house. He's got a big screen. Don't let him lie to you.
It ain't that big. Well, that way you can really see what's going on. So that's great. Well, I tell you, the Princess Theater is beautiful.
Thank you.
I was just down there probably about a month ago, a piano recital.
Yes.
My wife's nieces played in that, and it's just a great facility there.
It's a
really an
wonderful,
asset to
wonderful-
South Pittsburg.
Yeah. And I gotta confess, I during Cornbread Festival, I misunderstood my times, and for the newspaper, I thought I was coming in on the end of it. I ended up sitting through the entire Miss Cornbread Festival.
Oh, wow.
We just learned how to walk to Miss Cornbread.
Miss Cornbread, yes.
And I gotta tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. Those seats really are comfortable.
They are really nice seats.
Because I was looking at them going, I am stuck here until the end, and I felt like I couldn't leave and come back, so I did. I sat through the whole thing, and for those of you that are skeptical of those seats, they will hold their shape for the term of the show.
Someone who's 6'2" and 5 foot of that are legs, there's plenty of leg room too.
That's important to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, it's...
And I'll tell you something else. We've had several musical acts in there, and that theater has some of the best acoustics in the Southeast.
It really does.
And if you go to one of the musical events, it's better than anything. I'd rather listen to the music at the Princess than listen to it at Memorial.
Yeah.
It has much better
Wow.
acoustics, and it has a really good sound system.
Yeah, we went down for the Christmas program where they had the singing and everything, and it was great.
That was a good program,
Yeah,
yes.
it was.
Yeah.
They had the
And
instruments
there were several events for Cornbread in
Yes.
there. And I missed the big show because I got myself with technical problems at the paper, but that's, I digress. Right before the show, we had nothing but technical issues, and so I'm about to go off on my rant on technology, but I'll spare the viewers and listeners that. But it really was, even the less experienced acts that I saw there, it really did. It carries very nicely through
carries
there.
nice.
And I know now Neil Bennett was doing the sound up there.
He was doing this. We've had several people do the sound. Neil has ran it for us, and then there's some other folks that have come in and run it for us as well.
Well, I know that's a part of it,
It is
so
a
it's
part of
key to have good people running the controls. So
Absolutely, it is.
Well, logistics question. If you guys show a movie, do you have to get permission for that?
Yes, we do.
I wondered how that works.
Yes, we do. There are several different companies we can contact to get permission. There's some movies out there that you just can't get permission to show.
Yeah.
But there are several companies that we can license from.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people want to get new releases, and new releases are very expensive.
I was
to
going to
license.
say, a couple of pennies put together for those.
Yes. There's a reason why the big movie theaters have 14 screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They gotta
popcorn
recoup
costs
their-
$8 a kernel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah, that's right.
That's the truth.
But we can get, we can get things that have been out for a little while, maybe, stuff that's been out for a year. And then, of course, we can get, I like the classic movies.
Yeah.
And we can get a lot of those. There's a lot of things we can put in the theater that people like.
And I've noticed, by and large, the movies that I have caught have all basically been family friendly.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I appreciate that. It's so hard to find something now that, and even some of the movies we've had have had risque moment, but
Right.
certainly nothing like what you can bump into.
Nothing like what you run into at the big theater.
Yeah.
We don't put anything up that we wouldn't take our kids to.
Well, I wouldn't take my kids anywhere. So, it's really great because it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
Getting the Princess back up and
Yes, it
running.
was.
I remember when I was 10 or 11 years old, the Princess Theater was operating, and the balcony was condemned. You couldn't
Yeah.
go up in the balcony, and the round lights or the Art Deco lights that are on the wall, they were hanging. The upholstery, the wall treatments were in shreds. I mean, it was just in horrible shape. And we'd go down there every Saturday, and watch a movie. And about half the time, it was Young Frankenstein or Revenge of the Pink Panther. It seemed like they ran that every weekend. They owned the license on those two, I reckon. But to see what it has become,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Because they've utilized that even for civic events and meetings because of the screen, and it's got meeting rooms and is that a full kitchen or is that a kitchenette up?
I believe it's a full kitchen.
Yeah.
There's a refrigerator, and I think there's a stove. It's a full kitchen.
And now that is available, obviously,
yes, yes.
for
I actually work for Sequatchie Valley Head Start, and we've used that for meetings several times.
Really?
And
Yeah.
it's a really good experience because, like you said, the seats are so comfortable.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got you can hook a computer up and put things on the big screen. You've got audio systems already there. So it's just a really great place to hold a seminar or
Yeah.
conference.
because that upstairs room holds quite a few people. I don't know what the number was, but I know.
I don't know what the number is off my head, but there's, I'd say it'd hold 25, 30 people, maybe double that. Easy.
Yeah, I would
know.
think so.
Wow.
And
It's really multifunctional.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and if there was anybody that was looking to utilize that, who would they contact?
They would contact Wendy Barrett
Okay.
at Princess Theater. The phone number is on the website that I just mentioned, princesstheatersp.com.
Okay. All right.
This is true.
And,
That's great. Well, I just say it is great that South Pittsburg, you don't have to drive 40 miles to do something. Such a great town. You come down and get a bite to eat, go across the street to Princess, see a show, see a play.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Well, and I echo that, of course. We're kind of at the cusp here. We've got so much push, and me included, to expand and new thing. And I'm glad to see that people are still anchored enough in the community that they can spend sweat equity and real.
Well, something that I wanted to mention, I hadn't had a chance to mention, we're having an event on the 28th at 6 called Start the Conversation. And we're trying to gather local artists of all types. It doesn't matter what type of art it is, culinary, painting, sculpting, blacksmithing. to get an artist community together to see what we can do. I mean, we have some ideas.
Well, that's on the 28th.
28th at 6 at the Princess Theater.
Okay.
It's good to know.
So, I know we've got painters and sculptors out there. We've
What
got
about-
some clothes makers.
What about David's finger paints?
David's finger paints are welcome.
Okay.
The
There's
only
hope
way
for
I
you
finger,
yet, buddy.
only way I fingerprint paint is when I cut my finger trying to get it to stop bleeding. But yeah, I don't think there are any circumstances under the earth of which mine becomes art. But
You're a
You
performer.
never know. I've seen
right.
some art that I wouldn't call it art, but it's
I have too.
12, $16 million
Hanging
later,
in
you're
gallery.
like, really?
Yes.
Well, Duke, we really appreciate you coming on.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, anytime something's going on at the Princess Theater, you come down and tell us about it. We want to know what's
I will
happening.
do that. I will do that.
And you know, there may be room that we may contact you by phone, you know, every first show of the month and just kind of
See
get a
what's going
Get a
on.
layout.
schedule. Okay.
Yeah, and that way we can let listeners and viewers know, and
I would love that.
because it's a real asset, and I think it's still being underutilized by the community, and well, we'll do our little part to try and advance the Princess
Absolutely.
Theater.
We certainly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coming up next, we've got, tell me, David, Roger Evans.
Roger Evans.
I'm sorry, I knew it.
I
I
was
just
fast
lost it.
forwarded to the next show.
It ain't over yet. We still got a little while. Roger Evans, he's running for school board, the 2nd District. He'll be coming up next. Thank
Hi, I'm David Riley.
And I'm Josh Jennings.
Join us live on Thursday nights at 7:30.
For local issues that affect you.
So be sure and join us at 7:30 on Thursdays for a live presentation of Beyond the Talking Points.
And a replay on Monday at 6 p.m. here on WEPG.
Hi, I'm David Riley.
And I'm Josh Jennings.
Join us live on Thursday nights at 7:30.
For local issues that affect you.
So be sure and join us at 7:30 on Thursdays for a live presentation of Beyond the Talking Points.
And a replay on Monday at 6 p.m. here on WEPG. Welcome back to Beyond the Talking Points. Josh Jennings here with David Riley. And in the hot seat now, no, just kidding, Roger Evans. He's running for school board in the 2nd District. Roger, thanks for coming on. 2nd District's a big district.
It sure is, and I didn't realize it was such a big district. Coming through Monteagle and
Oh, yeah.
and down through Kimball and Shell Mound and then Hilltown, Whiteside.
It goes from Hamilton County all the way to Grundy.
It sure does.
It does. It's just one big long strip, man. It's a huge district.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody there the other day. He lives on one side of the interstate, and I asked him, I had to ask him for a vote, and he said, "Well," said, "I vote in Sweden's Cove." Because he lives on the right side of the road. He's in District 1, the interstate, and mine's on the left side. So.
Yeah.
What I had learned, because I used to live in 2, and one thing I learned about 2 when it came to school board
Yeah.
was that district has students in every school in this county with the exception of Whitwell. Because you've got Monteagle, you got some going to South Pittsburg, you got some going to Marion County, Jasper. You got only Whitwell. All the other districts, they're they may just have
Squared
one,
up a little
squared
bit.
up, but 2, man, you're representing
Goes
everybody,
everywhere.
you know? So, well, tell us what made you decide to run.
Well, I retired, and I've got some free time, and I taught for 20 years out at Marion County High School. So, you see little things that you think that might could tweak on, and I taught vocation out there in CTE, and I just thought I'd seen some of the struggles that the kids have out there, and so and the funding that we do,
Right.
and I just sort of think that we try to need to get some things changed a little bit. Right now, even before I left, they had cut the welding program down to where 2 years was all they could take it, and when I first went out to the school, they could take it all 4 years, and.
Yeah.
If you know anything about welding, you got to spend time under the hood, or you're not going to be, you're not going to make a welder.
Yeah.
So,
That's an art.
yeah, it sure
Well,
is.
not anybody can do that.
No.
Yeah. Now, given that you came from the vocational background, kind of gives you a unique perspective on this, because so many of the candidates are coming from either traditional classroom or business background. Can you kind of help us? How do we bridge the gap right now between what our local businesses need and where we are today? I mean,
Well, some of the things that we went through and we had talked about while I was still teaching is. Some of your industry has, they've come across with some ideas, but they're not putting anything in. They're expecting the school system to take care of everything, and money is tight anyway. And then they need to be talking to the people in Nashville to try to get it changed back to where that you can keep the kids in there, because right now, 2 years in welding, and the classes are just an hour a day. And so there's 180 school days a year, so 360 hours of welding is what they want to teach you, all the processes of a stick, TIG, MIG, flux core, plus all the related mathematics and everything, blueprint reading. And 2 years is not, you can't do that. When I went through the pipe fitter apprenticeship program, and we had to have 8,000 hours to top out to be a journeyman, and 2,000 of it was welding.
Wow.
So, plus we had 500 and I think it was 546 or 576 school hours that we had to do.
wow.
So-
In addition
I
to
didn't
the
realize that.
Right.
Because 8,000 hours, that'd roughly be 4 working years. wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
wow.
Yeah, and see your apprenticeship programs, like Local 43, the one I belong to in Chattanooga. If you go through downtown, it's a 5-year program. Iron workers, I'm not sure about theirs, or carpenters, or there's plenty of opportunities out for these kids, but what they need to do is they need to know about these opportunities.
Yeah.
Back when TVA was just booming, everybody, you had a lot of people that worked for it, and word of mouth is the best advertisement. And so, they would say, well, they're fixing to take 20 apprentices. You need to get on the
Yeah.
list. And it made it easy, And me, when I got out of the Navy, when I first got out of the Navy, I got on up at Sequoia in the laborers, and that's when I had applied for the apprenticeship program. And I ended up getting, I worked 2 years as a laborer up at Sequoia, and I ended up getting an apprenticeship program, and they sent me down to Bellefonte, and that's where I served my apprenticeship program.
What about that? Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about. You know, when it comes to education, not everybody's meant to be a doctor or a lawyer
No.
or a banker.
Or wants to be.
Or
you
wants
know?
to be,
Yeah.
you know, that's, yeah, and that's, we need to be able to educate people regardless of what they want to do.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And some people are, you know, it's just, everybody's different.
Well,
Yeah.
you have some kids that, you know, that enjoy school, and you have some that it's
All
a task
three
for
of 'em.
Yeah, it's a task for them to get up and go every day. And I was telling David there the other day, the difference for me when I got out of school is I knew I was going to go to work.
Yeah.
And so when I graduated, I was looking for a job.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the job opportunities back then was a lot different because these companies were willing to invest in you back then, and now they're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
Would you say if there were a silver bullet to bridging the gap between where we are today and where industry would like us to be, would it be a more fluid partnership between the school and industry itself? And what would be a couple of ideas that you'd have? You know, what would you like to see being done?
Yeah, I know Valmont Industries was real involved with it at the high school in Jasper, and I think down at the welding program down here, Don Bird, I think Stowe
Yeah,
is real involved with them. But what you run into is these kids when they're 16, 17 years old, they can't, OSHA's not going to let them get out on the job site. And you could, they had a thing, you know, job shadowing, you know, but to me, it's more toward putting you in the office somewhere, you know, because, you know, you're not going to trip over a cord and get hurt, you know. But if you're out, if you're out in, like at Valmont or one of these places like this, that have these overhead cranes, and they're moving a sheet of steel. I know the fab table that I had in my shop was a 1 inch thick, and it weighs 48 pounds per square foot. Per square foot.
Wow.
So, and the sheet was 4 by 8, so 32 square foot, and times 48, that's, you know, about 1,600 pounds.
Right.
And I know I wasn't up at Watts Bar at the time, but they had an iron worker up there that had lifted up a sheet of metal like that, and rigging, you know, it's you have to be real careful of that.
Yeah.
And when you're rigging up, when it come up, he didn't trolley the crane, and it come over and pinned him against the wall. And you know,
Wow.
and you know, so you've got a lot of danger out there in the industry like that, and most of them, you know, they're not going to take a
That
chance.
risk, yeah. Now, I know in the case of like Volkswagen, they have had contractors, HR contractors that have set up with Volkswagen's, you know, guidance.
Yeah.
They've set up wholly separate training grounds.
Yeah.
Do you think that the local industry is equipped and or willing to look at doing stuff like that at the schools?
I had some guys that worked in the trade, and see, TVA went to that at one time, where that they were cross training, and it was one of them deals where that if you were an electrician, you were an iron worker, I was a pipe fitter, we could go out on the same job.